Hello. Thank you for joining us today. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today for one of our week full of spring break events. Today we have two very special guests, and they are both children's authors. First, I would like to introduce you to Sadia Farooque. Hi, Sadia. I'll tell you a little bit about Sadia. She is a Pakistani-American author, essayist, and interfaith activist. She writes children's books and is famous for an early reader series named Yasmin that she's going to show us a little bit today. She also has middle grade novels such as A Place at the Table and 1,000 Questions. Sadia is also the editor-in-chief of Blue Minaret, a magazine for Muslim art, poetry, and prose. She was also featured in Oprah magazine in 2017 as a woman making difference in her community. She resides in Houston with her husband and children. Thank you, Sadia. We're really excited to hear more. Next, I'd like to introduce you to Varsha Bajaj. Hi, Varsha.
Hi.
Welcome. Varsha is the award-winning author of picture books and middle grade novels. Her latest middle grade novel is called Count Me In, and it's a contender for the Global Read Aloud program. She's also written one of my favorites, Abby Spencer Goes to Bollywood, and that was shortlisted for the Sybil Award and was also included in the Spirit of Texas reading program. Her picture books include The Home Builders, which we're going to hear her read aloud today, and This Is Our Baby Born Today, as well as many others. Thank you for being a part of our program today, Varsha.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm so excited.
We're so excited too. Next, what we'd like to do is just kind of explain to all of the kids and parents and everybody watching out there where you guys are from. So if we could have the slides of the maps, please. Thank you. So Sadia was born in Karachi. Did you say Pakistan or Pakistan? Is there a
Pakistan?
Pakistan, thank you. And you can see on the map where the star is. So that is where Sadia was born and grew up. And the next slide, please. And Varsha grew up, looks like not far from there, in Mumbai, India. But if you look at the next slide where you see how they look close on the map, but those are actually almost 600 miles apart. They're 548 miles apart. So even though it looks close, that's still a pretty good distance. And then we'll show you one more map just so you can get an idea of how far they traveled to live in Texas. They went all the way from their stars on the right there to the star on the left, which is where our state, Texas, is. That's almost 9,000 miles. Thank you for showing us those maps.
Wow.
So the I was going to ask kind of how you ended up here and what your journey was like and anything you wanted to share about that experience.
Sure. I mean, that's not, when you look at it, I actually didn't realize it was almost 9,000 miles. I was like, maybe 5,000. I don't know. I grew up in Pakistan. After university, I decided to move here because of my husband. I had gotten married to somebody who is also Pakistani, but he was working here in the U.S. So yeah, that is me as a little girl in my grandma's house.
Aww. That is so cute. And then Varsha, we also have a picture of you as a child growing up. And if you can share your, the time and what brought you over to Texas as well, that would be great.
So I came here in the fall of 1986 as a graduate student. And I came to study psychology at the university in Southern Illinois. And I actually met my husband while I was at the university. And then I moved to Houston in 1998.
Okay. And then I'm sorry, did we lose your sound for a moment, Varsha?
Did we? I don't know. I heard a lot of background. I don't know what it was.
Okay, sorry about that. I didn't want to be cutting you off. So thank you for sharing your stories about how you came here to Texas. And that's the real reason we're here, is to talk about your books. So Saadia, I was wondering if you could tell us how many books you've written, and maybe if you have any bio, you could show us what they look like.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I get asked this a lot, and then I'm like, okay, let's do some counting. So I actually I used to write for adults before I got into children's books. I have a couple of books for adults, both nonfiction and fiction, which are also in the library, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started writing the Yasmin series. There are 16 books in the Yasmin series now. And then we have my middle grade novels. There's A Place at the Table. There's 1,000 Questions. And then this one, Yusuf Azim, which is kind of a new one that's coming. So that makes it 21 so far.
Wow, that is excellent. Thank you. And Varsha, I would like to ask you the same question. How many books have you written?
So I do both picture books and middle grade, and this is my very first picture book, which is still in print. Then I wrote this one, which is no longer in print. And then this is our baby born today.
Aw.
And finally, there's Home Builders. And then I have the middle grade book, Abby Spencer Goes to Bollywood, which I know you love, Jennifer.
Yeah, that was my first introduction to your writing, Varsha, and I just
Thank you. And then there is, of course, Count Me In, which came out in 2019. And then there's the anthology and another middle grade anthology, which both came out last year. And that's me.
Oh, great. Thank you. I believe you also were going to be reading to us today, Varsha, from Home Builders.
Yes, I am.
Awesome. We have some slides to go along with that. So Saadia and I are going to disappear for a few minutes here, and we'll get to hear this lovely book from Varsha.
Thank you. So I did want to say that Simona Molezzini, the illustrator of Home Builders, lives in Italy. And this is one of, I think this is her second picture book done in America. And we collaborated over computers and the internet and email. In the next slide. Okay, so the Home Builders is a story about animals building homes in the woods, and it's a little bit of a hide and seek game. So I hope that all of you are going to play along with me. Do you see the home builders? Deep on the trail, beneath the mound, down by the water, safe off the ground. So thank you. So deep on the trail, do you see the turtles? And beneath the mound is the fox, and down by the water is the beaver, and the eagle is safe off the ground. Under the earth, below the bridge, in the tall grass, high on the ridge. Under the earth is mole. Below the bridge are the bees. In the tall grass is the deer, and high on the ridge is the eagle. Do you see the builders work? Burrow and hide, tunnel and creep. Nibble and gnaw, explore and keep. And the owl doesn't actually build his home, but he works very hard to find places where he can nest. And a lot of times it can be holes in big tree trunks. Shovel and plow. Oh my goodness, look at that mole shoveling under the earth. Construct and flit. And the bees, as we all know, work so hard to make this amazing structure. Rummage and roam, that's the deer. Gather and knit. There goes the eagle with his twigs, which he is going to knit into a nest. Do you see the homes? Beds in leaf piles, dens snug and warm. Lodges on ponds, shelter from storms. And a little aside, this book was inspired by a beaver who built a lodge on the pond behind my house. Burrows with rooms, beehives and nests. Each of these homes soon will be blessed. And I kind of wonder how they'll be blessed. And there is a clue here, guys. Look at those eggs in the eagle's nest. Do you see the babies? Let's celebrate. The babies are here. Hatchlings go forth, fox cubs nuzzle. Beaver kits swim, owlets huddle. Mole pups slumber, bees swarm the air. Timid fawns bond, wee eaglets stare. Do you see the families? Born to be wild, to work and play, learning to soar, growing each day. Snug and sheltered as nighttime falls, home is our earth, shared by us all. And I want to say that during COVID, we have all been taking walks because it's something safe to do. And next time you go for a walk and you hear a rustle in the leaves or a scratching in the trees, you might want to stop and see if it is a home builder. Thank you so much for listening.
That was lovely. Thank you so much, Varsha.
You're welcome.
Writing us the images as well so we could see it, while we heard it. That was wonderful.
No, thank you, David, for doing that, because, when I hold the book, I feel like it's not always clear to the
definitely.
readers.
That was fun. So before we hear from Sadia's book, I was wondering if you ladies would be willing to play a quick lightning round.
Sure.
So how it'll work is I'll just real quickly ask a question. And then since we're in the order where Varsha is next to me and Sadia is below, maybe we'll just do Varsha and then Sadia answering. Okay?
Sure.
Talk or text?
Ooh. Talk.
Oh, text all the time. I don't even call my mom. I'm always texting her.
Okay, so we're on both sides of that. How about a favorite word?
Favorite word?
I mean, we're writers. They're all favorite.
I know, and either of you can answer. I know my favorite is bamboozled.
Oh, like that. Enchanted.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I'm going to say reading.
Very good. Good choices. Hunger Games or Harry Potter?
Oh, no, that's hard. I love them both. Oh gosh. I have to
Oh my gosh, Varsha. I don't like either of them.
Oh, really? Do I have to choose Jennifer?
No, you can say you love them both, and you can say you dislike them both. So that's a good balance.
I love Hunger Games. But Harry Potter, I mean, my heart went out to Harry when I read that first book and he was under the staircase.
Yes.
I just wanted to protect him from that minute on. So kudos to J.K. Rowling.
I'm the kind of person who, if everyone is really, really into something, I just kind of like, no, not doing it. It's like too popular for me. So I actually never read the Harry Potter series, and both my kids are big fans. So
I was going to say neither. Yeah. Okay. How about favorite color?
Red. I'm going to say red.
Blue.
Okay, that one you didn't need any time.
I get asked this every single school visit. I don't know, kids love the favorites game, favorite food, favorite color, favorite this, favorite blue. It's always been blue.
How about Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck?
Mickey Mouse.
Me too. Yeah.
I'm a Donald Duck girl, so we split on.
My actual fan though is Minnie Mouse, to be honest.
Okay. How about favorite animal?
Elephant.
Ooh, I love cats. I love cats.
Ice cream or cake?
Ice cream or cake? Cake.
I mean, both go together so well. It's not fair to ask someone to choose, honestly.
But if I had to choose,
if I had to choose, I'd have ice cream.
Okay. Your favorite kids character, and this can be a TV show, book, film,
Wow. Oh, goodness. Oh, my goodness. This is hard. I'm going to say maybe Harry, but you remember that picture book called Lily's Purple Plastic
Purse? Yeah, I love her.
I love Lily.
She is wonderful.
Isn't she? I love her. I love her.
I'm gonna
favorites.
Yeah, it's hard to choose. It's hard to choose also because so many things don't even, kids don't even know about them if you choose from your own childhood. And I don't know what's going on these days. So I'm going to choose my character, Yasmin, because she's based on my daughter. So it has not just because I write her, but because she's a beloved character to me.
Well, that leads us right into you reading, Saadia. So why don't we skip the last couple here, and Varsha and I are going to back off for a minute.
Yeah. I'm not going to read the whole thing, right? I'm just reading one chapter.
That would be fabulous.
Otherwise, we'll just go on and on. So this is a new Yasmin book that came out this year, and it's called Yasmin the Scientist, and I will read the first chapter from it. And I'll show you the pictures. I'm not as fancy as, or technologically fancy as Varsha was. Okay. Chapter 1, Science News. Miss Alex had finished the science lesson. Remember, the science fair is next week, she said. The science fair? Yasmin had forgotten all about it. What do we make? Yasmin whispered to Ali. Anything we like, Ali said. That wasn't helpful. Coming up with an idea was hard. What if Yasmin couldn't think of one? Miss Alex heard them. Don't worry, Yasmin, you'll think of something, she said. After all, science is all around us, outside, in our classroom, even in our kitchens. Like when Mama cooked dinner, Yasmin asked. Miss Alex smiled. Yes, cooking is also science. After school, Yasmin asked Mama, what should I make for the science fair? Mama was busy in the kitchen. Ideas are everywhere, John. Not helpful. Soon, Baba came home from work. Baba, I need an idea for the science fair, Yasmin said. I made an erupting volcano when I was your age, he said. It was fantastic. Let's see if I can get this closer. All right, that was one chapter. They're short. So hopefully you'll read the rest of the book and see what she makes for a science experiment.
I did the class mistake of having my mic off. Sorry. Thank you for sharing a few pages of Yasmin. It does give us a tiny peek at her character. I was wondering if you could share with our viewers some of the other titles of adventures that Yasmin goes on.
Sure. So this year, every year we come out with 4 Yasmin books, which is why there are 16 in such a short period of time. And it's always fun choosing what we'll write about this year. So this year we had a lot of sciencey stuff for some reason. There was Yasmin the Recycler. And there was Yasmin the Librarian, as a thank you to all the wonderful librarians like Jennifer and everyone who's just been such a big supporter of my work. And finally, Yasmin the Singer, which is more traditional, more cultural. This is the first time you'll see a girl wearing a traditional dress called a gharara, which is a Pakistani, South Asian, like fancy dress that you wear in weddings or big celebrations. And she's wearing that. And she's going to a wedding to have fun.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. Yeah, I highly recommend these books for any readers. It's great for all kids. I feel like I've never met a child who didn't enjoy reading them, and honestly, you as well.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, and there's a lot of great back matter in all these books as well. So like in the scientist one, there's an experiment at the back and there's facts about Pakistan and you can learn Urdu. So there's a lot more than just the story. But yeah, she does a lot of stuff. You know, in the past, she's been a teacher and a zookeeper and a explorer and a painter and a superhero. So she does all kinds of stuff.
And we do have all of the books that we have in the system by both of you wonderful authors available on our Overdrive. They actually have a nice spring break week list of all books that match all the themes. So if folks are looking for your books, they can find them there, or they can just call their branch also and request them. So just putting that out there for our attendees who might want to catch up on all of your great works. And next I thought we might play another game if you guys are up for another game. And this one is going to be an old time school game, show and tell. And, Varsha, do you have an item that you might like to share with us for a show and tell?
I didn't have anything, but if you give me a minute, I can get something.
I didn't know we were doing this. I
know, I didn't either.
Oh, we can skip that then. No problem. No, we can just. I'm sorry, that's my error. I still had that in our little plan here. So instead of that, let's see if we can get some questions from the audience. One second to get them in there. So how did you know you wanted to be a writer?
I took the long way around it. I mean, I was always writing stories since I was a little girl, but I really resisted it. I think growing up in Pakistan, it was never presented as a career choice or even something you did for fun. You know, it was very much STEM based, and every job I had as an adult, I didn't like except for the writing part. So I think in my late 30s, I said, you know what, the only thing I've ever liked doing in all these other things I'm doing is writing. I might as well just try something. And so it was not knowing that this is what I wanted to do, but just by trial and error, figuring out that, hey, I could be good at this. Let me try and see.
Sure. How about you, Varsha?
So I came to writing late. I actually came to America to go to graduate school for psychology, and then I became a licensed professional counselor and worked in St. Louis University Medical Center as a therapist for a long, long time, and I actually did love it. I've always been a reader, and voracious reader. Like you couldn't take books away from me. And so I used to always say to my husband, I'm going to be a writer when I retire. And one day my husband was like, why do you always say when you retire? Why don't you do it now?
Right.
And so when we moved to Houston, I thought I would take a few years off. My kids were very young.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to write. And I sold a book. And it was How Many Kisses Do You Want Tonight? And I was hooked. Never looked back after that. But I have to admit that about once a month, I do miss being a counselor.
Yeah.
I have to admit that. But, no regrets. No regrets.
Oh, that's wonderful. Another thing is kind of tied into this, and that is, did you have a dream career? Like, what did you want to be when you grew up? Did you have anything like that?
When I was a kid?
Mm-hmm.
When I was a kid, I wanted to be a singer. That's what I wanted to be. And then, and so in our neighborhood, we used to have this little talent show, which I organized because I wanted to sing.
I love it.
Yeah, we had saris for the curtains, and we had a little stage, and all the moms used to, give us little snacks that we sold as concessions. So yeah, I wanted to be a singer, and I acted in every play from kindergarten to 10th grade, something like that.
Nice. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
How about you, Saadia?
I had no idea what I wanted to do when I was growing up. I know what I didn't want to do. I didn't want to do any of the jobs careers that my parents had or anyone that I knew had. But it was very much, when I was growing up, we didn't have a lot of career choices. I know in Pakistan now they have a lot more, but still, you couldn't, there were a lot of things that respectable girls didn't do. So like being in the entertainment industry, my dad would have probably had I don't know, just broken down.
Sure.
Not that I had any talent, so that was good. But I didn't know. So I went through life just figuring things out, and I did my business. I went to business school because that was like the only thing I didn't hate. So I was like, well, let me just do this because I have no clue. And so I guess I think that we often don't realize that a lot of young people have this problem where they don't know what they want to do because they haven't been exposed to something. And so I often tell kids, it's okay if you don't know. If people are asking you, what do you want to be when you grow up? I didn't have a clue. I didn't have a clue until a long time later. So,
Thank you. Yeah, that's a good
story.
thing to share. That's a good thing to share because I think that's a really valid point. Kids can feel a lot of pressure. I used to joke, my younger daughter used to tell people she wanted to be Hello Kitty when she grew up. We just let her roll with that. Because, we knew she would realize at some point that wasn't an actual job title. But
that is so cute.
Yeah. Wow.
We had another question of what are your favorite hobbies?
Oh my gosh.
I still love the theater. Even though I no longer put on talent shows, I love theater, and so I get season tickets every year, and that's my big splurge. I love music, and I was going to say that my dreams of becoming a singer were torpedoed by really bad allergies. And my allergies are kind of sort of under control now. So I still have this little group of people with whom I sing. And I do. And I love playing Sudoku. I'm addicted to Sudoku. I love to cook. I am addicted to walking. I walk a lot.
It's a good habit and good hobby.
Even in the rain, I walk a lot.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Wow. I am such a boring person by comparison. I'm like, I like reading and that's pretty much it. I can spend the whole day reading and that's my number one. And napping. I love taking naps. So, if I have some free time, I'm like, I'm going to take a nap.
Reading,
But, yeah.
Yeah, reading is something that I'm just constantly doing. And I
Mhm.
have adult book, and then usually MG or a YA, and then I have a stack of picture books because they're my first love.
Definitely. We'll do one more question real quickly, and then I believe you both prepared some writing tips for kids. So the next question is, do you have any pets?
Do you want to go?
I have two kids.
Awesome.
I mean, mostly when you have kids, you don't have pets because you have to take care. I know. I wish I could. I had a cat growing up and I really miss it, but I decided that I was having, it was really hard for me just taking care of my kids. I didn't want to take another life into, like, in my life. So, yeah,
Sure.
no.
Okay.
So I had a dog, Scamper, and Jennifer, you probably saw pictures of him on social media because he was like my third baby. And unfortunately, he passed away last year. And so I'm still getting used to life without Scamper.
I'm sorry to hear that. That's a tough.
I know, it's so. I mean, oh, that's Scamper. Can you see him?
Oh yes, he's so cute,
isn't he? He's the he was the best. He was the best, and he took me for walks every day.
Oh yeah, that's great. With your hobby being walking, to have a pet.
Yeah,
that was right.
He was so spoiled.
Aw. Well, we are now going to switch to sharing some writing tips, if you like, ladies. So we'll get the screen up for you. So, Varsha, if you don't mind telling us yours first.
Write from your heart. Write about something that moves you to feel or think. I really feel this is important because when you write from your heart, it just feels real and genuine. Write with all of your senses, your sight, what you hear, what you feel, involve touch and sounds and colors and visions and everything so that your words come alive on the page. And last but not least, if you want to write, read anything and everything. Read comic books, read books, read anything you can find that you love.
Oh, thank you so much. Those are some great tips. And we also have some tips that Saadia is going to share with us.
Yeah, it was really hard to, not make sure that I wasn't duplicating with Varsha because honestly, all writers pretty much have the same tips, I feel like. But so, yeah, reading all the time is definitely on my top as well. Definitely read what you love, but I do think that if you want to be a writer, it's important to read the kind of books that you want to write, or the kind of stories that you want to write, because we need to kind of immerse ourselves in that atmosphere, in that kind of story, to really be inspired and see how that plotting is done and how the story is told and what works and what doesn't. So definitely read for fun, but also read what you want to write. And then first drafts are not the final drafts. I need to remind myself of this all the time as well, because I am a drafter. I don't like revising. I don't like going through my work once I'm done. And I know a lot of listeners are also going to be like that, but it's not a good idea. Your first drafts don't share them with anyone. Make sure you do a lot of revisions and editing and polishing until it's really good. And finally, find someone to give you feedback. This is important because it helps us grow as a writer. Until we're reading it only by ourselves, we always think it's pretty great. But when we show it to someone, it has to be somebody who knows a little bit about writing. I remember when I first started out, I would write and I would show my work to my sister, who's great. I love her. She's a doctor. And every time her feedback would be, "This is so great. I love it. You're such a good writer." And that just made me fall in this trap of thinking I was awesome. Even though I was actually, if I read those drafts now, they were very rough and they weren't that great. So find someone to give you feedback, who can actually give you some constructive criticism so that you can improve. Those are my 3 writing tips.
Oh, thank you both so much. I think that, a lot of kids have that dream of writing, but aren't sure how to get started. So those are some really helpful ideas. So we're just about out of time. So I want to take a minute and thank you both again on behalf of the whole library system. We've really enjoyed having you. And I do want to remind our patrons that are watching us right now to look up your materials on our website, hcpl.net, or to go ahead and call their branches and they can get your books that way. And folks, there's still a couple of big fun events coming up for spring break, both tomorrow and Friday. So check the schedule and you can go back and watch the ones that we had earlier this week. So thank you so much. Happy spring break, everybody.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Saadia. And all the kids have a great spring break.
Yeah, it was such a fun conversation. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Oh, it was great. Thank you so much.